recording.
Cool.
Let's see. Now we're on to track 5.
Track 5.
Dark Days.
Feeling alive.
Mm-hmm.
Moving along, man. You know, the last track, quite chaotic. Pretty big turning point for Jordan.
Facts.
So, going into Dark Days, what's your favorite part of this song?
My favorite part of Dark Days.
Production or otherwise?
I think my favorite part is like during the verses, you have these like little like harmonies that are like pretty cool. Like there's one, and when they like pan from side to side, like I think it really makes it pop. Like there's one where you I think go like silence them all. And it sounds cool. It makes it just sound like solid to me. So I really like that. It's kind of the little touches. I also like the little sound effects and shit we have in there too. Like the Kenny G sax. I know that was your idea. That was sick.
Yeah, the singing parts were Personify's idea. So there are times, you know, like where he would just say, why don't you try singing that ad-lib? Or why don't you try, you know, putting a particular thing in a particular space? And a lot of the times it made the song a lot better, you know? So it was fun doing that kind of production like volleyball, just like hitting it back and forth. And then what the final product turned out to be is obviously the result of that. But yeah, credit where credit's due.
Hey, well, thank you, man. Love playing volleyball with you, brother.
Hey. And then also, yeah, the Kenny G part. It's fun putting in the sound effects because I feel like that's another thing from a bygone era is there used to be a lot of sound effects in hip-hop, you know, and so you don't want to, it's kind of an art to it. You don't want to go overboard with it, but in particular areas, it can add a lot to the song. And sometimes, like, ad-libs are not my favorite thing to do. Sometimes they come naturally, sometimes they feel really forced. And when I listen back to a song and it feels forced, now we realize you can just take it out and put in a cool sound effect or something else.
True.
Just something to, you know, kind of tantalize the ear, do something unexpected, and not overdo some other aspect of the song.
Yeah, and it's still an ad-lib, too. Like, it's just not a voice.
True. Yeah, exactly.
Fill in the blank, baby.
Yeah, just adding more tools to the toolbox for sure.
Hell yeah. How about you, man? What do you like about this song, the way it came together?
I like the bars in this song. I like how it's very laid back, but it just kind of keeps on keeping on, you know? Like, it doesn't really let up. Like, the song kind of betrays this sense of how chill it is because narratively where Jordan's at in the song is he's just really depressed. So the song itself is very chill and his voice sounds very like apathetic or just like low energy, but the way that I wrote it, it's kind of like bar after bar, and I really like that aspect of it. I feel like sometimes when you listen to rap that's like pretty intensive on the rhymes and the schemes and stuff, sometimes it can be a little bit much, but I feel like the juxtaposition between the chillness of the approach and the beat itself with the bars kind of allows you to sit back and be like, okay, I'm just bobbing my head, you know, maybe driving during a cloudy day. But then when you really like sit there and listen to it, you sit with the lyrics, then you start to be like, you know, this is kind of going off. And I really like that aspect of it.
Yeah, I like that too, because, yeah, when you listen to the beat on its own, you kind of have a bob that's, like, pretty slow. Like, I remember when I was making it, I was kind of back and forth. And then the way that you rapped over it, now when I listen to it, my head bobs, like, twice as fast. Now it's, like, more of a up and down, like, because, yeah, you're getting it, bro. You got those triplets in the flow. Like, it's got a flow to it, for sure. Like, you pretty much sped it up the way that you rapped over it.
Yeah, the tempo is certainly, like, a head bob like this, especially, you know, because this song doesn't really have like traditional hook. It's like very storytelling focused. So it starts with I'm asleep, I'm up, I'm sleep. I wanted it to kind of be like, you know, there's certain songs or, you know, things that are soundtrack to whether it's like animation movies or whatever. And it'll be like people are working. You know what I mean? Like the type of tempo reminded me a little bit of like in, what is it, in the Jungle Book? It's like, oh yeah, and they're just like marching along. I'm kind of like, this is Jordan's marching song. He's like just going through the fucking motions. So it starts with that, and then it's just a lot of storytelling, which gave me a lot of space to just mess around with the flows. So you got that tempo like this, but then I'm doing a lot of like like all sorts of crazy stuff. So yeah, it was really fun. I like getting back to kind of those hip hop roots, even though we do a lot more singing in this project. So yeah,
Yep. Gotta love that good old hip hop.
hell yeah.
So why don't you break down for the audience what's going on in this song?
Right. So in this song, it pretty much happens directly after Insecurity. So Taylor and Jordan are Splitsville, and Jordan is very depressed because he was just putting all of his stake in something that wasn't ever going to work, but he's still upset about it. And now he's kind of just riding on behavioral patterns because he started selling drugs in order to have money to be able to buy these expensive things for this girl to keep her around. Couldn't keep her around, but he's depressed, and so he's like not hanging out with any of his friends or anything like that, but he continues selling drugs and getting closer to Omar, which is his older brother's ex-friend or whatnot. Omar went down a bad path, and so him and Brian they went Splitsville, but Jordan's hanging out with him. He's selling more drugs. He's making more money, but he doesn't even know what to do with it. So he's all just basically just riding on his like behavioral patterns and what's the word that I'm looking for? Not residual. Like it's all just momentum at this point for Jordan. And so the reason why it's called Dark Days, and then I could even put like parentheses Bright Nights or something because that's part of the hook, is because he's just sleeping throughout his days, and then he wakes up at night to go hang out with Omar or to go sell drugs. And so there's that aspect of it, and then it's also very dark days for him as a whole because of his depression and because of all the things that he's going through. And then the Bright Nights is also because he's using his own drugs because he's in a space where he doesn't really have to sell anymore. He's just doing them because it's just why the fuck not, sort of thing. Kind of building up his ego a little bit.
Getting high on his own supply.
Getting high on his own supply, which is literally a lyric in this song. And so he's just in a really bad place, and it's going to lead to a split in his path. He's going to have to choose some direction at some point because clearly, even though he's not really, each time that he decides to not hang out with his friends, not do the right thing, sell drugs, things like that, obviously he's going down the wrong path. But this is a very like passive song, which I think also is representative of the way that this song feels. It's very just kind of like passive and laid back, but there's a lot of non-laid back things happening. It's all purely momentum from all of those things that have happened to him previously, which we'll detail further, some of the things that made him choose this path as we get further into the album. And now after continually choosing the wrong direction, he's got himself in some dark days.
Damn. At least he got some bright nights, though.
Yeah, but those are like representative of him just being high and being awake at night and in those like twilight hours, midnight hours,
Yeah, no, for sure.
And so we've got him over to a place to where, it's setting the stage for what's going to happen between him and Omar. Is their friendship going to continue in a good direction? Is it not going to go in a so great of a direction? Those things are going to be answered in the subsequent songs, but for this track itself, it's all just kind of setting the stage for what's to come.
Stage is set, baby.
It is. It's pretty much just like checking in with Jordan, The craziness of the last song, it crashes and then settles, and then he's in this space. And I just want to tell the mindset of where he's at during this time. Also in the later on in this verse as well, there's a bit of an altercation in between Jordan and his older brother Brian, because Brian ends up finding his stash of his money or whatever hidden behind some things that are in his room. And of course Brian's like, I already had a bad feeling. I knew you weren't doing the right thing, but now I'm trying to piece together, how did you even make this happen? He's putting two and two together, and he's a smart kid. He ends up figuring out what it is. And I'll leave it at that because we, continue the narrative in the next song. But they have a bit of a back and forth, and then actually like a physical altercation. It's not like a fight, but Jordan pushes Brian into like a glass pane or whatever and ends up injuring himself. So that's where we leave those characters before we go into track 6.
Wow, almost at the halfway point.
Yeah, almost. It's kind of crazy to think about.
Crazy.
Yeah, anything else you think the people should know about this track or Escape Artists as a whole moving forward since we're nearing that halfway point?
I mean, not really, honestly. I think you summarized the story pretty good.
Thank you very much. Oh, yeah, we're matching.
I was gonna say I like that shirt.
Yeah. We didn't, like, plan this. You know what I mean? We just kind of stepped up to the microphone, and here we are. There's no story behind this. I know you guys want a story. You're not going to get one.
Nope.
Apologies.
I think yours is better than mine.
Well, what it is the undershirt, man. See, the thing is, if you either wear the undershirt or you go at least all the way half down with the buttons.
Deal.
Yeah, so it's like, that's how you really show off this type of shirt without an undershirt.
No, yeah. It's not about the shirt, it's about what's under it.
Like, I'd like to say that pretty much most of the time it's that way, but when you have the chain as well, you know, I feel like you just gotta let that bitch dive.
Damn, so I've been wearing it wrong this whole time?
I wanted to tell you.
But you didn't?
No. This is going off the rails.
That's Dark Days.
Jordan's going off the rails too.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan off them rails. The fuck? All right, we're going to end this now. Dark Days. Go and listen to it.
Peace.
Peace.
Santa.